Hello, thank you very much for joining us here today on the Paytech Show. Now, today we're going to be looking at payment orchestration and the huge changes that have been going on for both merchants, consumers, and the institutions when it comes to paying. And joining me here today is Eddie Johnson from Aevi. Eddie, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Very well indeed. Let's get on with it. It's time to talk about payments orchestration, and I really want to actually set the scene, and maybe if you could tell our viewers a bit more about yourself, your role at Aevi, and Aevi itself.
Sure. So my name's Eddie Johnson. My current role at Aevi is I'm the VP of Product. That means I'm responsible for everything that we bring to market, everything that we sell to our customers, and the future of kind of where we're going to be going, and trying to keep my eye on what we need to be prepared for in the industry. In terms of Aevi themselves, we are an in-person payments specialist company historically, and that's kind of evolved into being an orchestration platform for payments, and a platform that brings different types of payments together for our customers, who tend to be people who want to service merchants. So we're one step back from the merchant front end, but we're obviously thinking about the merchants on behalf of our customers.
That's absolutely brilliant. I love that kind of looking at the very end of the chain, because that's where the human story is. And a lot of merchants are in a brand new payment ecosystem that a lot might not understand because of the huge changes in payments. Now, before we go on and discuss that kind of futurist perspective that I know you have, let's again set the scene and look at payments over the last couple of years, and what have been the biggest changes for you?
Yeah, I mean, payments has historically been a very slow-moving industry, and I mean, I remember when I actually joined the payment space, whatever it was, 8, 9, 10 years ago now. I came from a digital background, and I really enjoyed coming into payments. I used to joke with my colleagues that I only need to be 4 years out of date and I get to be bleeding edge. But really, the change that's happened in the last 3 or 4 years is that's entirely exploded. The reins have come off, and payments has started moving at a pace which befits the consumer, and the biggest reason for that is because of the shift towards the consumer themselves being the point of focus. I think the biggest change is, if you look over the last 5 to 10 years in payments, we've moved from a position where payments is a luxury. Card payments, digital payments is a luxury in store, and it's seen as something that, if you walk into a store as a consumer and they can accept the type of payment you want, then you've hit the jackpot, you're lucky, right? Whereas now, as a consumer, I walk into a store and I expect to pay however I want to pay, and if I can't pay how I want to pay in that store, I'll go to another store. I've got the choice, I've got the flexibility, I've got the power in my hands as a consumer, and so what's happened is the payments industry has had to rush to keep up with that. And I think we're now at the point, and really what's happened in the last 2 years, is we've got to the point where we've caught up with that, and we're now starting to try and get ahead of the game. We're starting to try and get ahead of the curve to really try and push the payment space forwards, rather than just react to what the consumers are shouting about. And that's driven in many ways by many different things. You've got the payments disruptors coming up, you've got the smaller players now able to play in the payment space, but also just the full digitization of payments. And obviously with things like the pandemic for the last 2 years, that's been a big driver for a lot of consumers, but a lot of merchants as well, is they just want to go fully digital. And by going fully digital, it just really opens the playing field to the sort of breadth of payment experience that you have these days. I guess my final point about what's changed in the last 2 years is the options are now pretty much endless, right? You get to choose how you want to pay, when you want to pay, what kickbacks you get from how you pay, how many payments do you want to make for that one purchase, and as an industry, we have to be able to support that choice.